Hello everybody and welcome to Planet SkyFF, the world where everything revolves around a console of my choice, which I'll be winning in May. My name's Suj.
His name's Suj. My name's James. I'm not even winning a console.
If someone wins something, it's better than nothing. But Dave Perrin, represent please, and don't forget the 10%.
Yeah, to be honest, when Ian was on last week, I thought David dropped off, but he's still about fifth. He's definitely still got a chance of winning it. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Come on, Dave.
Yes, indeed.
How good was Mr. Perrin last week?
Very good. But it was very unexpected. Not what Ian...
Harsh.
What was his quality. It was like the topic of conversation. I was waiting for a Sky Fantasy podcast. It became very fixture-based, and then it became a... It was one of those things where even after it was explained to me, like this first pick, second pick...
Don't say you didn't get it.
3 or 4... No, I did, but I just felt like... I understand it. You work it out. It wasn't the kind of thing that... I'm like, okay, I understand it now, but I'm not about to go away and start looking at it and think, right, okay, first pick, second pick, whatever. I'm like, good. I like understanding why things are how they are.
But I'll wait for the fixtures to drop, yeah.
Yeah, but really interesting. And obviously, since you recorded with Ian, we have had the fixtures for the rest of the season, bar one or two potential movements that might need to happen. Actually, it's probably 3 or 4 potential movements that might need to happen based on Europa League, FA Cup.
There are some perms, which we'll talk about a little bit.
But nothing that is what you'd consider disastrous or throws any major spanners in the works.
No, I mean, to be honest, the biggest spanner in the works for many people would have been the announcement last week, which none of us foresaw coming, was the movement of the Crystal Palace Leeds game to Monday the 25th, just absolutely randomly for no reason. April TV fixtures long done, and they've gone, at 4 weeks' notice, we're going to tell Leeds they've got to go to London on a Monday night instead of a Saturday afternoon. Charming people, this Premier League lot, honestly. And that's going to cause some alarm for a few people, I think. I've got Gallagher still and was intending to hold Gallagher through to the end, and that's the way it'll stay for me. Rafinha I've also got at the moment, although Rafinha's going to go for me, I think, on Sunday. That's probably as big of a spanner as put in the works. There might be some still to come, but in terms of the way that the games have split, I thought we'd have some more randomness for what's left. So, I mean, me and Ian spoke about the possibilities of things like Brentford versus Southampton, Palace versus Watford, Brighton versus Leeds. Like, we've avoided all of that. So, from a captaincy perspective, it's not alarming for people too badly, which I think is good news for those who are short of the transfers, though there are still plenty of gains to be made, even within sort of the last 2 midweeks or so. There's a few teams that have 4 games left and some will only have 2. Once you're throwing captaincies in, there's still gains to be had right to the end of this, I think.
It is why I'm saving my 21 transfers with real delight. How did your game week go? Were you on OR and etc.? I'll just throw mine out briefly. No VPN. And by the time I decided to try and get into the app from overseas, couldn't download a VPN or get it set up and just ditched it because I wasn't going to make any moves anyway because I'm still
Did you
waiting.
Have captains?
No.
Nothing? It didn't set nothing for you?
33 points, but it didn't. I was still 5,200 or something. My rank isn't going up, isn't going down. I can do nothing. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess you probably would have captained, Salah, Kane and Saka, maybe? What have you got?
No, Salah, Kane and Gallagher.
So you actually haven't missed that much,
no.
Ironically.
No.
You've missed, I want to say, 8 points there, actually?
Probably.
So how did you still score so lowly?
I think 35 or something. But then Ben Johnson didn't play. Had a couple of no-shows, I think.
I bought Cancelo in the end for Trent Alexander-Arnold on Saturday when obviously Trent wasn't in the Liverpool team. I came to the conclusion that no matter what, I was definitely going back to Cancelo. Whereas with holding Salah, looking at potential other players like maybe even Jota, Luis Diaz, back to Trent, I wasn't as sure in my mind of going to Van Dijk. Plus, obviously, Cancelo being cheaper as well. So I went back to Cancelo, which was an original error to get rid of him in the first place. He should have been one of them. I just went, nah, sod it. He's too good. Leave him now. I finished on 71 for the game week, which is not too bad. I mean, I've had a little bit of a rise this week, but I've made 2 transfers as well, so that would be expected, up to 523rd. I also bought Saka on Monday evening for Philippe Coutinho, and I captained Saka, which actually worked out, despite me going into Palace and Arsenal with 3 players, Gallagher, Gabriel and Saka. I did captain the right one because Saka got tackled here. I had 7 from Cancelo at the weekend, 5 from Fabian Schär at White Hart Lane.
Yep.
I mean, that's all right, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not bad.
Have a goal, 5 points, and you conceded 5. Jose Sarr, 4-pointer. James Ward-Prowse, 8-pointer.
Lovely.
Harry Kane, 14. Oh, no, of course he got man of the match, Kane, didn't he? How many other forwards could not score in a 5-1 win and win man of the match?
Just the one assist, isn't it?
And I guess the differential for me has just been for many over the weekend. And I'd be honest, his ownership did not go up as much as I'd expected on Sunday. 12-pointer for Sonny, who is carrying a few who need the differential at the moment. He's really doing the business at the moment, Sonny, up to 35% in the top 1,000. I actually thought that would go nearer to 50. Because I think there was certainly a case to go Salah to Son and then back, get the 3 Tottenham games in the middle, which the 12-point already is kind of halfway, well, more than halfway towards justifying that potential transfer if Salah didn't return at Man City. But I guess a lot of people decided not to go down that route. Salah's ownership in the top 1,000 is still 87.5%. So some have come off, but then I decided to stay on. But then I already had the 2 Tottenham and Salah in place. It was less of a decision for me. I did think about going back to Bowen Sunday, and I just went back with that old, don't get a player when he's just come back from injury, James. Is he even going to play? And I'm looking at going to 3 league games, Everton, Brentford, Burnley, then come off again. I found it's another 2 transfers there, James. So I decided not to, which is probably regrettable in hindsight because he's such a good asset and you could carry him through, I think, but it's a little bit subject to their Europa involvement. I'm sure a few obviously did go that way and go for Jared Bowen at the weekend. I'm just going to have a look and see what his ownership went up to in the top 1,000, went up to 8.9%. It's got to be all new ownership, isn't it? Interesting. Shall I talk about these fixtures a little bit?
Yeah, so what's it thrown up for the end of April and May that we didn't think about? Any freaky single game days, firstly?
No, that Palace Leeds one, Monday the 25th. In terms of other single game days we can see now, beyond what we already knew in April and May, we knew Manchester United Brentford Monday 2nd was locked in. We've got Villa versus Liverpool Tuesday the 10th. It's not a problem. Tottenham versus Arsenal Thursday the 12th. It's not a problem. Monday the 16th, Newcastle versus Arsenal. It's not a problem. So there are no major issues there. I mean, even if you went, I haven't got any Arsenal, well, there's a case to buy the Arsenal the night they play Tottenham, or even still, actually, even more likely, buy on Sunday the 8th when Arsenal play Leeds at home in the 2 o'clock kickoff. That's the sort of one I'm talking about, where they'll have 4 games left at that point. And there's a few teams that only have 2. So there's no reason to be without the Arsenal at the end for the running at least something. But there are a few that could cause some problems. So we haven't got this Wolves versus Manchester City fixture. So as explained yesterday on the FPL podcast we did, basically if West Ham beat Lyon, Wolves versus Manchester City has got to go into the final midweek before the final weekend of the season. Now, I think if Liverpool make the FA Cup final, Wolves versus Manchester City will probably have to go on to Thursday the 19th. That's because Sky have scheduled West Ham versus Man City for the Sunday. That is, so that's if West Ham win in Europe as well, because they can't.
So is the first domino West Ham winning in Europe? If West Ham winning in Europe, has to be in 37.
I think so, because they've got to leave the possibility of the West Ham City game being moved to 36. Can't go 37. That's when Europa League final is. So if you're in Europa League final, West Ham and Man City would have to move to 36 if City beat Liverpool. So it's a combination. You're going to find out both things in the space of 48 hours, basically, ahead of match week 33, which is kind of the re-entry point, interestingly, for sort of City, Liverpool assets. That midweek after the FA Cup semi-finals, City have Brighton at home on the Wednesday. There'll be a lot of people going back to City then, I'm sure. So if West Ham stay in Europe and City beat Liverpool and the West Ham City game has to get moved, the West Ham City game has to go into the midweek of 36 if that's the case. In terms of what night it would go, I suspect the answer there is probably Wednesday the 11th, which would leave Villa-Liverpool staying as a single game day. I don't think it will please Sky that much because they're already showing Leeds versus Chelsea that night. I mean, they've cocked up their schedule with Chelsea anyway, which I'll come back onto. I think in the event that City beat Liverpool in the Cup semi-final and... City beat Liverpool in the Cup semi-final and West Ham go through in Europe, then I think that opens up the possibility for Wolves versus City to go on the Tuesday the 17th, which would then add a single game day. And I think Tuesday 17th is likely to have one of Southampton versus Liverpool, West Ham versus Man City, or Wolves versus Man City. So there is likely to be another one, but again, it's going to be City or Liverpool. It's not going to throw you up any problems, but it's something to be aware of nearer the time at the end. Manchester United versus Chelsea, we know Sky wanted to put on the Sunday the 15th evening as a 7 p.m. kickoff. I spoke to Ian about this last week on the pod. Like, could they flush out the Sunday and have even an evening kickoff on the Sunday? Because they want to keep the Saturday free as a kind of standalone FA Cup final day. Now, the problem, of course, is should Chelsea beat Crystal Palace in the Cup semi-final, which they're favourites to do, the United-Chelsea fixtures obviously got to move. The most likely is that it goes on that Tuesday night, Tuesday the 17th, and then Chelsea play Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday in the run-in. But don't get too excited about that because, as we said, Chelsea will rotate the whole team for something there in that case, particularly obviously if Champions League place is wrapped up. It could, in theory, I note there's no Monday night game in match week 36, Monday the 9th, but then that would mean Chelsea playing Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. That seems absurd. The obvious answer is match week 35, except that now doesn't work because Sky have picked United versus Brentford on the Monday and Brighton versus United on the Saturday at 5:30. So if they put it in that midweek, then again, United then have to play twice in 3 days, which means we think the Thursday in match week 34, which would be Thursday the 28th, could be Manchester United versus Chelsea, and at quite late notice. The earliest you would probably know about that is Monday the 18th, probably. Right. To know officially, because Chelsea's semi-final was Sunday the 17th, right? Yep. So you're looking at that being a 10-day turnaround, so that's worth bearing in mind. But again, I think worst case scenario, obviously a lot of people looking to dive in for, say, United Brentford, you'd just go a little bit earlier, wouldn't you? For United, if you've got no Chelsea coverage and stuff.
Do you think they'll do what they did with that Norwich game, make a provisional announcement? Like, if this happens, then this will happen.
Well, the game that they should have left spare was the Leeds game. That's the game they should have left spare. In the same way they've left Wolves and Man City with no announcement, they should have left all Chelsea's midweek fixtures with no announcement. That's what me and Ian were kind of in agreement with last week. That's the best thing to do. Then, yeah, because what they're in a position now is, if Chelsea reach the cup final, they're going to be thinking, oh shit, we should have put United there. We could have had Leeds as a fixture that they dropped and stuff. They've left themselves with bigger problems. I don't understand the makings of them. I'll leave that one to Ian. But it could be that United-Chelsea gets brought right forward to match week 34. And it does mean that there would be obvious hop-ons and hop-offs, particularly of Manchester United, if that's the case. So again, no major stress. The only other one to note is Palace versus Villa. Should Palace make the FA Cup final instead, we think that will probably get brought forward to the midweek of match week 35, and therefore probably be around about Wednesday the 4th of May would be a single game day, probably not shown as a live television coverage match. That will only get brought forward if Palace make the cup final. Villa have got midweek fixtures, match week 36 and match week 37, so it would have to come forward. So that's probably the biggest problem for people to see is, okay, Palace versus Villa gets brought forward. But if that's the case, now we've got that Palace Monday the 25th fixture, it'd be absolutely obvious to dive on a Palace player. Monday the 24th, you'd have Leeds at home, you'd have Southampton away Saturday the 30th, then Villa in the midweek, then Watford at home Saturday the 7th, and then you come back off. Easy.
Nice.
It's not going to be major problems.
No. We'll wrap through some of these questions that we had on Twitter because they obviously will cover off a lot of the good talking points, and thank you to everybody that sent them in. And you've just nailed one of them at the start of this fixture discussion from FPL Borat. What has to happen for Man City to double in 37? Well, it's not doubling per se. It's kind of an FPL phrase question, but we've just explained. West Ham winning Europa League against Lyon.
The one thing I can't answer is, let's say West Ham go out to Lyon in Europe, and let's say Manchester City lose the... I mean, to be honest, it doesn't even matter what Man City's Cup semi-final result. Let's say West Ham lose to Lyon. You have no idea which way around they're going to do that with West Ham and Wolves. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can add to that. But I don't think Wolves, fixture-wise, is not great. Yours now is okay, but I don't think you're going to be diving back in for West Ham because there's an extra Man City fixture. No. So it is more about City rather than
Chelsea. City is 3 in a row.
Rather than the opponent, it's about when will City play. But I don't think it's overly important. You're going to know that the extra fixtures are there. Plus, with Man City, and this is why I don't think it's a huge problem, City have obviously now been scheduled to play Newcastle at home on Sunday the 8th. So from that point, Sunday the 8th, City are going to have the fixtures left as it looks, no matter how it falls. So that's going to probably be the dive-on date. Is Sunday the 8th either way.
Dragon wants to know who the best replacements for Wolves and Newcastle assets are going to be after Friday.
It's difficult because if you got Max Kilman, I could say Fabian Schär maybe, but that doesn't work when they're obviously playing each other. There aren't obvious options down there. Jacob Ramsey's one, but then, okay, they play Tottenham Saturday, then they've got a gap of a few days. I think you're looking for a real budget option, and there aren't masses about. Ramsey's interesting because Villa do obviously have that kind of run of real late fixtures. So if you go, right, that's going to enable, I'll leave it. He's in sort of 50% of the top 1,000 teams. It opens up the money for you.
You mentioned the name on the FPL podcast yesterday, Dewsbury Hall. I mean, he's going to be cheap in Sky, and I can't confess to have even looked at his price.
I don't know what his Sky price is.
It's going to be nothing, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Is he one that you might consider?
I think Ramsey's got...
Because they have got extra fixtures, Leicester.
Yeah, but how many of them is going to play? I mean, I spoke on that pod yesterday how good he's actually been for Leicester and the fact that he really is first choice now. But what's first choice for Leicester is that Europa Conference League game. That's the problem. I might be investing in a Leicester player myself this Sunday.
So then let's answer DB's question. Which Leicester midfielder would you go for? I'd go Maddison.
That's probably where I'm leaning, yeah.
He's kind of a streaky player, is Maddison, and when he's hot, he's hot. And obviously there was a lot of transfer talk last summer about him moving on. I don't think that's going to go away this summer. I think it's actually going to intensify.
No, I disagree with that.
You think he's not? I
thought he was really good on Saturday, but I think mainly because of fitness issues, I think his levels have dipped a bit, and they might be coming back up to a level that we expect with James Maddison.
You don't think I'm being too cynical, you think, by saying he's in the shop window for the next 8-9 games to try and push for a transfer in the summer?
To be honest, I don't think right now any of the top 6 would be interested in him.
Perhaps.
It costs too much.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay the English premium. Leicester will still want 60, 70 million for him or so.
Yeah, I mean, even the 50s or so that Arsenal was being rumoured last year with Arsenal feels crazy money. Like 60 or 70 for Maddison's not worth it. So I can see that. But Maddison's the one I would go for, DB. And you, James?
Dewsbury Hall's 6.6, by the way. I can't make a case for that over Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Maddison in for Rafinha for me on Sunday. But it might be Barnes. It might be the team comes in and Barnes is in the team. And then quite often with Sky, it's about timing, right? So I could say now, yes, probably James Maddison over Harvey Barnes. But if I get Sunday and Barnes is in the team and Maddison isn't, I'm going for Barnes. to tell you the truth. Just go with it.
Borat also asks, can Robbo cover Trent from 34 for the rest of the season, or is Trent a must-have?
Do you think that's an FPL question? Because I do.
You don't think Robbo can cover Trent in this game?
No.
Not in this game?
No.
Then that's a straight no.
But then neither Robbo or Trent are... I mean, again, as Ian said last week, and I think he's right, Van Dijk's the best one to go for in this format from Liverpool. And you're not going to now. You're going to wait till the Manchester United fixture on the Tuesday night after the Cup semi-final. So that's an FPL question, mate.
Frank, FF Stuff.
Hello, mate.
When do you think next season's game will open? I think Frank's had enough. Come on, Frank, go for the console, but he probably hasn't got 21 transfers.
I have no idea when Sky launched last year, to be honest. I'm going to say early July.
AD Tour, is Pope still the right way to go with the updated fixtures?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned. And actually, it has thrown up something. It's a really good question because it's thrown up something quite interesting with Nick Pope. And it's kind of thrown up the idea to keep him till the end. We were thinking / hoping, I should say, that the Villa fixture was going to fall into where I said sort of around about that Palace Villa fixture may now end up if Palace make the cup final. So we were thinking that Villa Burnley was probably going to land around about Wednesday the 27th of April. We now know it's not going to be till the penultimate game day of the season, Thursday the 19th. And it raises the idea of keeping him all the way through, I think, a little bit more. Because the hop-off point, arguably, for Nick Pope now would probably be Saturday the 7th of May when they play Villa at home. And then you could go something for the end. So it could even be like, you think, oh my God, which City players are going to play? If you've got the money in the bank, Edison the next day, for example. Or the week earlier, you could make a case, we laughed about it last week, but actually genuinely, Pope to David De Gea, Monday the 2nd, if you don't fancy punting anything United offensively, because you will probably want to come back off the United asset that you want to invest in. So whether you want to go Pope to De Gea and then De Gea to Edison or something like that, it's a little bit doubtful. I think if you're going to chain that, you probably want to punt a United player which you think's got a bigger ceiling. So I don't know, be it a Fernandes, a Sancho, even Ronaldo for the 2 games when it comes round, whatever. But the fact that Burnley obviously now will have... They'll play on the last 2 game days. And as it stands, 3 of the last 4 game days makes you think maybe you should just sit there till the end. I think it's possibly a little bit dependent on what the results are in the next few as well. Like, I mean, if they beat Everton tonight, I mean, Everton are shitting themselves anyway. But if Everton go to Turf Moor and win tonight, it looks really bleak for Burnley. Really bleak. I don't think it's going to suit them to go into the positions where they have to go and win games. I don't think that's going to work out for them.
No. Shane White. Oh, bloody... Excuse me.
Your battery died.
Yeah, but it's fine because I've got my phone here.
Can you not plug it in?
I didn't bring the charger in. It's perfectly fine. The question was... Well, the thing is, I've got a very simple answer to the first question. And I'll do 2 questions together. So Shane's question was, is there any concern over City-Liverpool rotation due to Europa? Is it going to be a big risk? And it's like, well, it's always a bloody problem, isn't it, really? So it's not really... Well,
Liverpool didn't even pick their strongest team last night against Benfica. And you could argue City didn't either. Foden was a sub. Nathan Ake started for City last night.
So should we be looking at Diaz, or is he too much of a risk of being rotated with Jota? They're going to rotate. Like, you're not going to get it right
Luis
every time.
Diaz.
Yeah. So it's kind of this issue. I mean, the things, like Cancelo, De Bruyne... are pretty locked in. Salah plays most games. Trent and Robbo will play most games. The flip side of arguing with all the European footballers, the league title's not done yet. And there's massive opportunity for them to win that.
I wanted to get Saka in to cover this real bulk period of Arsenal fixtures and then make a decision after they play Manchester United on Sunday 23rd, because there are still some fixtures because of what days, and we don't know yet, teams will play in the Champions League semi-finals. There are some fixtures, as we've covered, that could still move. For example, Liverpool versus Everton on Sunday 24th could move back to Saturday 23rd, for example. I'm going to get Saka in. Now, because I've got Coutinho and Rafinha, these were 2 players that I definitely wanted to bin. If I'd have only had one of them, I'd have sold Salah. And I would have considered, particularly as I'm in a chasing position, not that my chasing is going to get me anywhere that can actually achieve anything, maybe possibly a late push for the top 100. I would consider that, going without Salah and punting a Luis Diaz at 9 million, or punting something different, or Jota up front. But in terms of rotation, it's a nightmare for everyone.
George Thomas, very low on transfers, and after seeing the fixtures, has penciled his last transfer to be Rudiger, with the entry point being May Day, 1st of May. Do you agree this looks the best option for May, or would you go against Rudiger with a Leicester player or someone else?
First thing to say is that the fixture may not stay that date. Again, if Chelsea reach Champions League semi-finals and play on the Tuesday, that fixture would move back to Saturday the 30th. And there is a fixture that would swap with it. I know Tottenham Leicester could still move to the Sunday. It's probably one of the other Champions League teams that could flip with them. So it might be you need to look at that as the week earlier when Chelsea host West Ham on Sunday the 24th. If Chelsea beat Real Madrid, one of those two Chelsea fixtures is going to move back to the Saturday. One of them, definitely. The problem is, even in Rudiger's case, if they're still in the Champions League and they make the FA Cup final and they've kind of secured third, it's the same problem with Chelsea and Leicester players. I think at the moment you could only pencil the plan into that, and buying Rudiger's absolutely fine. The other thing to bear in mind is what's Rudiger's ownership now, Suj? You haven't got battery to even have a check, have you?
I do on my mobile phone.
Oh, that'll take you ages, mate. I'll probably beat you to it. The thing is, if you're making your last transfer to go to Rudiger, let's say, for example, most people have already got a Rudiger or a Chelsea defensive asset. So what you're doing, you're just kind of blocking everyone else. Other people are going to go for 2 or 3 at that stage. Now, you might already have 2 or 3, but I suggest if you did, you've probably already got Antonio Rudiger. So in terms of making gain, you're only blocking against others 22%. Who are probably going to be ahead. Is that all? But I think it will jump back.
Oh, sorry, 47 in the top 1K, 22 overall.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. So, I mean, other people are obviously looking at that sort of move as well, and you're only going to block it. This was part of the decision in terms of me looking at it previously and going, we'll come back for Chelsea, we'll come back for Leicester. I don't think right now we've got the answers. I think after the FA Cup semi-finals, then we've got clarity in terms of what our expectations truly can be of what these teams are likely to do for the remainder of the season. You could also argue, by the way, that you just go into Rudiger. It depends what you're selling, but Wednesday the 20th, when they host Arsenal at home, there's loads of entry points for them.
DB names a player that I would just not bother, but he says, is Mateta worth considering on Sunday to differentiate from Gallagher? Mateta. I mean, Gallagher can't play the Palace-Chelsea game, we understand, so he does have one less fixture in the run-in, but why would you go Mateta?
Palace haven't got to play Chelsea again, mate.
Have they not?
No.
Oh, okay.
Done. A couple of weeks ago, Ziyech scored a really late goal. Mateta. No, not for me.
I don't know why you would. There's too much risk of rotation there.
What price is he?
Who, Mateta?
Yeah, I wouldn't even have a Scooby-Doo, mate.
I don't even care.
Don't be like that. Listen, I mean, look, he's showing good form. He's 6.7. I see what you're trying to do there. Do you know what? It's interesting to come back to people looking for escapes off maybe, particularly say Kilman after Friday night. I think would maybe one people are looking to move on if they haven't already. If you've got 4 or 5 at the back and you want to look at something like that, I don't mind. But hopes of him staying in the team for you, guaranteeing you that he starts at home to Leeds for that Monday night you may want and stuff. No idea.
Lauren Harris has Kieran Tierney, who we now know is done for a while.
Yep.
10 transfers and no captain tonight. Tonight being Burnley, Everton. Should she try and bring someone in for captain tonight?
Yep.
Or just leave it and use the transfer for something much better?
I think everybody is buying Nick Pope tonight. Everybody.
Okay.
The only people I think who won't buy Nick Pope tonight are maybe a few people who are sitting there with James Ward-Prowse, because they play each other next Thursday night as a single game day. There's a case to captain, we'll discuss it in a sec, there's a case to captain Pope on Sunday. I got to think strongly about it. They've got Norwich away on Sunday while City and Liverpool play each other. So you could go Pope, captain tonight, captain Sunday, captain next Thursday. And then the Sunday after, Burnley go to West Ham and Newcastle play Leicester. And there'll be a lot of people without the coverage for that day at the moment as well. So you potentially get 4 captaincies in a row for Nick Pope. I think nearly everybody buys him tonight. I'm buying him tonight.
There you go, Lauren. Gary Mantle, any block defence plans coming up in the next few weeks, or you're not looking at that?
Possibly. I think you probably need at least 9 transfers left to sort of consider that sort of route. And again, I think by the time we land that, it's not for now, land in that midweek after the Cup semi-finals and make a choice then whether it's going to be Liverpool, City or Chelsea. Would still be the only ones I'd consider. I'd go right at the heart for one of them. But I can't tell you which one I would consider till after those Cup semi-finals.
Danny Stewart has 6 transfers left. How many do you have left, James?
10, I think.
Okay. 3 are already sharpied in for this week, so we're not going to touch those. But where should he prioritise his last 3? Well, we don't know your team, but he has cover for all captaincy except Palace and United games. And I don't want to waste 2 transfers on bringing in a United player.
I really think buying Palace player now Monday 25th is the right thing. Like I said, you've got Leeds, Southampton, Watford. So it's an easy kind of chain move off that. And you might have a rearranged Villa fixture go in there. If it doesn't, then fine, you can stay on. They've got Everton the final Thursday as well. You may even want to captain. Everton might be relegated. You might want to captain a Palace player that night. And I've got United at home final day. So, I mean, the fixtures aren't that bad. You could even attack them if you want to, rather than wait for the team against Leeds. You can attack them Wednesday 20th away to Newcastle, but I think you'd wait for the Monday the 25th. So definitely a Palace player. Honestly, I'd just go and get Gallagher. He's so consistent. The way he closed down Arsenal the other night, he didn't even touch the ball a lot in the game, and I still thought he was in with the running for man of the match, to be honest with you. United player as well. I think you will want coverage depending on what happens with that Chelsea fixture. Probably going to be dependent in terms of how, when, why. But I think that Brentford game Monday the 2nd is something you'll still want to attack. And the fact that they've got Brighton on the Saturday afterwards means it's a hop on, hop off. It's a chain move. If the Chelsea fixture gets brought forward, then you're definitely going to want one, I think.
Brendan says, can the Liverpool defence outscore Salah for the rest of the season? And his logic here is, if that's true, then you might look away from going Salah cap, but just sell Salah completely, like you're talking about, to even remove it as a equation. Because when you've got Salah and VVD, you're going to captain Salah, aren't you? So get rid of that as a thought process, and see if the defence can cover you off.
Yeah, of course you can sell. There's no... We're at a stage of the season now where I think that there's certain players you definitely... I would say right now for the remainder of the season, I feel like Kane's more important than Salah, personally, if I was to make a choice. I just think Harry is absolutely blistering it at the moment. Yeah, you can come off. And unlike with the Tottenham players, yes, Sonny is an alternative. Yes, you can look at Kulusevski in midfield. I think for this format, you don't go to Doherty at the back, or you don't look at... Romero might be interesting next season, not now yet, in my opinion. Whereas the Liverpool guys, of course, you can go Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson. I would avoid Matip and Konate at the moment. Even Alisson in goal. There are definitely loads of... Diaz in midfield, we're saying now. There are loads of Liverpool alternative options where you're more restricted with Tottenham. So, yeah, look, if you're chasing, yeah, punt it. If you're 20th right now and you still think you've got a chance of coming first, Mo Salah's not the man that's going to win it for you. Put it that way. He might keep you in contention. Mo Salah's not going to win this game for you. He's only going to keep you in contention.
Last question of the show goes to the guest from last week, Ian Parrin, and it's a very straightforward answer. How is James's mentoring of me for Manager of the Month going? Well, I've only just got back, and to be honest with you, the spreadsheet that you sent me is a start point, but I need to open it and figure it out. So tune in a couple of weeks and we'll know where we will at.
Wednesday the 27th of April, we will have a proper look for you into how many transfers you got left?
21, sir.
21. So, yeah, we need to land you, I think, with an 11 that's kind of starting Sunday the 1st, Monday the 2nd.
and then keep moving it from there. 20 transfers.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably, we'll make some before we even get there. Arguably.
Just to set ourselves up.
Possibly.
Nicely. And that's Sky Fantasy Football for you. This week, we have obviously captains for the next few days to cover off. We didn't do that, which we normally
Pope
do.
tonight.
So, yeah, I don't own anybody, so I will be going with Pope today.
Are you going to bring him in?
Should I? Nah, I'm not going to.
No.
Nah, leave it.
No, you shouldn't.
Leave it.
Not if you're just aiming for May. No, leave it.
Newcastle Wolves.
I'll be on Fabian Schär. I think, interestingly, the shouts might be someone like Fabio Silva.
Yeah.
If he played, but you're never going to buy that for Sky. I think Sarah or Dubravka, fine. I think if you do not own and you want to invest, it should definitely be a Newcastle player. I know Ian obviously went for Bruno Guimaraes, who didn't start at Tottenham. I would bet money that he'll be back in the team Friday night against Wolves. Other than that, I'd look at Schär. Dubravka, Schär or Guimaraes.
I'm going Willock.
I wouldn't go St. Maximin at the moment.
Just because I own Willock.
Just because you own him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy Willock new.
No.
I think Schär might be the one that opens up money for you potentially, and you can hold him for a little bit. There's a good hop off with Newcastle after they play Norwich on Saturday the 23rd, where you can chain that off, and they've got good fixtures beforehand. Wolves at home, Leicester at home, Palace at home, Norwich away, and then you can bin for what looks a tough looking final four for Newcastle. So yes, I would still invest. If you don't have, I would buy a Newcastle player.
Kane on Saturday away at Villa.
Yes.
There's not much debate on that, is there really?
Playing too well, and actually with Harry, don't be put off by the away games, as we've spoken about many times.
Agreed. Sunday, obviously, City, Liverpool playing each other. Are you tempted with what, Cancelo, Salah?
If I go the City, Liverpool fixture, I think I'll go Cancelo. But I may go for Pope. Away to Norwich. Yeah, I'll watch them tonight and have a think. His ownership is going to jump so massive. And at the moment with Norwich, they're so impotent. It looks like 18 points straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's your captaincy shouts for the weekend as well. Listeners, thank you for sending in your questions. Please make sure you are subscribed wherever you're listening to the podcast. You can hit the like button or the subscribe button or the thumbs up or all the other bits and pieces they give you to interact, and leave a comment as well on YouTube's. We'll be back at you tomorrow. We've got Clash of the Correspondents. James is joined by
Tom Med and Chris Stone previewing Brentford, West Ham.
Tom must be in good
He's
spirits
absolutely
after Chelsea.
Buzzing. We have a really, really interesting conversation with Tom about how much it meant, and we talk about the impact with Chris in terms of West Ham's European involvement at the moment, which is relevant for particularly people considering or who have got Jared Bowen.
Yeah, indeed. And, of course, Friday is a deadline for FPL, so there'll be a deadline stream, differential show for the patrons, and we'll be looking at free hits and bench boost and chip strategy for the remainder of the season as well. So stay safe, look after yourselves, enjoy the football. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck. Cue music, please, man-child.
You going to watch Burnley-Everton or Real Madrid-Chelsea?
Are you leaving this in?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, because I'm paid to be an FPL content creator,
You're going to watch Burnley-Everton.
I'm going to watch Real Madrid versus Chelsea. Good night, everyone.